Hello everyone, my name is Cap, and welcome back to the channel on another 7 Days to Die video. I'm doing all this in Alpha 17.1 on the PC, and this is stable build 9, B9. So one of the things that people have asked a lot about ever since I did some of the original heat map questions is in regards to the screamers. Because as you know, once the heat map goes up to 100, it rolls back down to 0 and spawns in a screamer. Screamers will come over to the general area where the heat's at, and then call in their friends and ruin a pretty good party. But the question people have had, and what I'm going to test in this video is, let's say you're down here at the bedrock like I am, and you have all your heat sources down here, like Forges and Campfires or whatever, and you let them run so that it rolls the heat up over 100. When a screamer spawns in and they start wandering this area, will they start digging down to you? Now that screamers and other zombies can actually dig, will they try and go for the heat source, or will they just wander around in the general area where it's at and see if they can find you? So I'm going to do two different kinds of tests here. And so what I'm going to do first off is I'm down inside the hole at the bedrock, and I did cover up the top of it with some dirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the heat to raise up enough to where we can get a screamer to spawn in. And then I'm going to find her using the debug menu so I can see where she's at and see if she'll come over here and start digging down to where the heat is, trying to find me, or if she just wanders around. So first things first, we need to get all of these bad boys started up here, because as they're running, and actually just turning them on a few times should be able to be enough to get it up over 100. But we'll get a couple of these running here. I don't even have to do too terribly much with these. I'll get them all turned on and then we'll see what's going on. So I'll be right back. Alright, so we have a screamer in the game somewhere. You see the heat has rolled from over 100 back down to 0. Now if you hit the 0 button on the keypad over there when you have the debug menu on or whatever, it will highlight the zombie's information. So I'm going to use that to see if I can try and find her, because I don't know where she's at. So I'm going to go into God mode so I can clip a little bit and see if we can figure out where in the world she's actually at. Oh, there she is. Okay, so we can see, let me see, zoom in. I got to scope the high-powered rifle so we can see where she's at. Okay, so she's chilling out over there. She's in investigate mode. And she is currently coming the general direction of all where the heat is. You can see there's the top of the tunnel right down here. But I'm hanging out. The heat is still going down here. It will cycle back around. It comes and goes and flows about whether or not it will actually raise or not based on the heat. Seems a little bit wonky here. Now, something I will say too is that in 17.1 right now, screamers are a little bit on the buggy side of things. Sometimes they spawn, sometimes they don't. I've had instances just trying to do this test where they wouldn't spawn in the first time. I had to let it cycle around a couple times. I've seen other people in the Discord chat and on the forum saying they've seen the same thing where screamers just don't spawn in. So some people will consider that a blessing, but for the sake of testing this, of course, they're going to be difficult to make my life hard. So she's coming over to the general area of where the actual heat is at. So we'll see if when she gets up here, if she tries to figure out a way to me. Now I only covered up the hole with just one piece of dirt. So all she'd have to do is just hit one and she can fall down in here with me. But we'll see if she comes over here and starts digging or not. Or if she just kind of wanders around. Now, once she sees the players and stuff, that's when she'll call in all her buddies. You can see right now, it's just me and her. So she's hanging out. Let's see what she's doing here. All right, let's get a good view and see what she's doing. Okay, she's not digging, I don't think. It's hard to tell from here. I'm trying to see exactly how far away she is. It doesn't give an exact distance as to where she's at here. But it doesn't look like she's digging right at the moment. So I'm going to hang out. Let me go back down just a little bit so we can see. I think she's just standing around up there. It looks like she might actually be stuck on something. I'm not sure what she's doing. Some weird little frog hop sort of thing. But she's definitely not just pile driving straight down to start digging towards me. Which was the thing people wanted to know. Is if you have your base way down underground. We know zombies can dig down here if they see you. Oh, did she start digging? It looks like she might be digging a little bit. It's hard to tell. Hold on, let me turn that off. Let's turn off her information. Yeah, she is actually digging to me here. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so let me real quick. Let me go turn off God mode and go into creep mode. Okay, you can see right now that my visibility is at 66. I guess mainly just because I'm inside and there's so much heat. But that doesn't necessarily mean that she can see me. That just means that that's how much I would be able to be seen. Okay, so let's see if she's still digging. She's definitely not going to take the easiest route to me, so she can't detect that there's a giant tunnel right there. You know what? Hang on real quick. I hate to do this, but let's fly just a little bit and see what she's doing. And we'll stay underground and see what she's doing. Okay, so it looks like she dug one tiny little hole there. All right, let's go back down here so we don't mess up our pathfinding, because I know when you move and change your locations or whatever, it completely messes it up a little bit. But I'm trying to see if she's actually digging or not, and it doesn't really look like it. Okay, so it looks like she's getting the command to just wander. you can see their commands and stuff here. Like I said, once you have debug mode enabled, which I've done an entirely different video on if you want to know how to do all that, you hit the 0 on the number pad key and it'll turn on their information. Shows their total health, which will be useful in some of my other tests. Their interest distance, what I'm not exactly sure how that's calculated. And of course, where they're moving to and what their current command is. And right now, she's just set to wander. And now she's sitting at wait. Okay, let's pop our head back up here again. Let's see where she's going. Alright. So it doesn't look like she's going to be digging. She's definitely not calling any of her friends. She's just kind of hanging out. She doesn't seem to be doing anything, really. She's kind of wandering around. So, whether or not, you know, screamers will dig down to a heat source when you're down at the bedrock or not, it doesn't appear so. It seems like the first time she hit it and dug one tiny little thing, I don't know exactly what she was digging for, but she only went down one block. And she's definitely not trying to get back up here. So, I would call that as a confirm. Now, of course, you know, if you have different experience and it's like, hey, Cap, you know, I've been playing, we had a, you know, a fortress like we have down here, and we had a horde of screamers dig all the way down to us. And, you know, there you go. So, you know, let me know in the comment section if you've had a different experience or not. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reset here. I'm going to get her nice and dead. And what I'm going to do next is, let me see, I'm going to keep all the heat running. Let's see here. Let's turn off God mode. I need to make sure she doesn't accidentally scream because I want to make sure that, hold on, let me see. It's dig out. Switch guns. Where'd you go, girl? There you are. There we go. Make sure she didn't call in her friends. Okay, she didn't call any of her friends. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same test. You can see, as I said in previous videos regarding the heat map, it doesn't matter whether you have your heat source at the bedrock or all the way up in the atmosphere. It does it in a chunk, which I'm in, you know, this chunk right here. So I have these frames here just so I know where the hole is, so I don't lose track of where it was at, and that's where a car was prior to when I accidentally blew it up. But you can see the heat is still going up, albeit a little bit slower at the moment for whatever reason. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go hide in this house. I'm just going to sit here in this window, like this, and I'm going to hide. And I'm going to make sure that I'm going to turn my headlamp off here. I'm going to crouch down. You can see my visibility is down to pretty much nothing. And I'm going to wait for the heat to go back up enough to spawn in another screamer. And then we'll see if me being inside the house, if she'll actually come towards where I'm at, or if she'll go towards the heat's at, and if she'll start digging then. So we'll check back in a little bit after the heat's had a chance to go back up. Alrighty then, we have a screamer in the game somewhere. Got to find her quick. See, right at the moment it's just me and her. Let's see, I'll turn the information back on here. Let's see if I can see her information peeking through somewhere. I'm not quite sure where she's at. I got to try and find her. Maybe hold on. Maybe I accidentally turned it on, turn it off again. I don't know. The heat's still going up. It seems to be cycling pretty. Oh, there she is. Okay. All right. So there's our beloved screamer. So, right at the moment, she is in investigate mode, and she's just kind of hanging out. So, she's approaching the spot of where she's supposed to try and get to based on where the heat is, which we can see is right down there. So, we're trying to see if she'll come over to where I am, which I'm generating no noise, no heat, no nothing. And we may end up trying to get 2 screamers spawned in here, which is fine if it cycles back around, because we do have a lot of forges going on. But we're trying to see what she does, basically. She's on the other side of a hill. She's meandering down the road, taking her sweet, precious time getting over here. There she is, just bebopping along at her little picnic basket, and she's going to take her sweet time. So let's see if she goes towards the actual heat source itself, or if she comes over to where I am. She can't see me right now, I mean, unless she actually knows where I am, which she shouldn't. She shouldn't be able to see me, because I'm hidden inside the house. She's definitely doing some cooing. But we're trying to see if she'll go towards the actual heat source itself, or if she's going to come over to where I am or not. To see if, you know, they're attracted towards the actual heat itself, or if they're attracted towards the people who are generating said heat. Now, it looks like she's coming inside the house. That's just creepy as she's getting closer here. Oh, she just kicked in the front door. Yeah, she just kicked in the front door. Interesting. Okay. All right. What are you doing down there? You're in investigate mode. You don't exactly know where I'm at. Let's see. Your stats say you're basically just trying to approach the general area of where I'm at, and you don't exactly know I'm in here, but you know something's going on in this house, don't you? I don't know exactly what you think you know, but what, did she fall in under the house? Okay, I don't know what she. Hang on. We got a. I think she's in the basement. Are you in the basement? You taking the long possible route to get here? Okay. Whoa! That's a good way to end up with a broken leg right there. Fall off the hole here. Okay, I don't know where she's going next. I guess she's trying to figure out how to pathfind to the house, and she... Oh, there she is. Hey, ugly. Okay, I gotta get rid of her real quick. Alright, do we have another screamer in here? Let's see. No, not currently. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna wait again for another one to spawn in and to see if it will actually work this time, if she's gonna go towards the heat source, or if she'll come towards me. So, bear with me. Alright, we got one in a little bit faster this time, and she spawned in on the other side of it, and you can see she's kind of heading up the hill, so she should go right past it. Make sure I have my lamp off. Okay, so I'm trying to make sure I'm as quiet as possible and out of line of sight or whatever, see if she goes towards the actual heat itself or if she goes towards the player, which would be really strange because they're supposed to go towards the heat, which is what they're drawn to. It's because it's what makes them spawn in, of course. But, you know, we'll see what she actually does. We're trying to get a visual here. Looks like she's coming up the hill, just meandering along, taking her sweet little time. Which is fine, but we're just trying to see if she'll actually go towards the heat or go towards me again, so we're going to give it a good chance. The first time it was hard to tell specifically. We were testing if she would dig or not. I wanted to see if they'll dig whether you're down there or not, but it kind of is, it's hard to tell because she's just kind of wandering off. Hold on, what are you doing over there? Okay, I don't know where she's going right at the moment. She doesn't look like she's coming towards the house specifically. Maybe she is? That's interesting. Okay, so she's coming towards this house too. Alright. So now what I need to do here is to test to see if it's something with this house. Get out of the window. What are you doing? Okay, here. Alright, we're going to reset her again. Okay, we're about to get another screamer to spawn in here, so I need to adjust the time before it gets too much darker here. Let's get this back down here. And what we're going to do is we're going to fly over towards this hill here so we can get a little bit of a different angle. And to... Oh, okay, maybe one already spawned in. Yep. Well, there's an old timer over there, but it's okay. All right, so let's have a look and see if we can figure out when a screamer is going to get here and see if we have a better line of sight now. Okay, we're definitely way out in the open here, but maybe, just maybe, we'll see if they'll come towards us. So we'll be right back. All right, we are back now, and we do have a screamer in here somewhere. Where's she at? Okay, so we did get one to spawn in, and we got a decent chunk. I think there's a small wandering horde. Okay, so there's the old timer, there's the skateboarder, there's the screamer. Okay, so she's back behind me. That's not good here. I need to go... What I need to do is I need to go back on top of this hill, the opposite direction of where I'm at here, and see if she goes towards that house where some stuff has been done. Alright, so, okay, don't get too far away. We don't want them to despawn. Alright, let's come back up here. Zombies are not the most cooperative things, especially screamers. Alright, so she's been ambling along. I don't know where she's going. I think this one might be actually drunk or not. I'm not quite sure what she's doing, but let's see. She's wandered over that direction. Again, the source of all the heat is in this chunk right there. Now, it bleeds out into the surrounding ones, of course, but we're going to see which way she actually goes. It looks like she's kind of heading towards it, but... Also, something to keep in mind is your general location when a screamer spawns in is kind of sets a waypoint as to where they're going to head in that general direction. Your general direction when it goes over the heat. So if you're right on top of it, it will spawn them in the general direction. But if you are a little bit away from it, they'll at least head the direction you were. So I'm wondering, because I was in the house over there, I tested on the hill, one came that direction. So I've kind of tested it with it being, closer towards this actual heat generation point here to see what she'll do. If she's going to walk right past it and go towards me, or if she's going to wander around where the actual heat is coming from and see what's going on here. Because screamers are a little bit wonky, but generally the heat is what spawns them in, and then they go to the general trunk where all the heat is being generated and look for the player. Which you can see she's kind of doing the same thing she did when I was underground. Because that's where I was when it rolled over to 100, was right next to this thing. So she's currently just kind of hanging out. You can see right at the moment, she's just in wander mode. She doesn't see me. I'm hiding up on the hill. Let's go into sneaky peek mode just in case. Make sure she doesn't actually see me. But for the most part, it looks like the test of whether or not screamers will dig down towards the heat source is going to be busted. Because she's just standing right on top of it right now, and she's not digging down towards it all. Because zombies will only start digging down if they sense the player. Now, it looks like she's kind of heading this general direction, because maybe she sensed where I was at when it spawned her in. Maybe not. Nope, she's wandering back around. Okay, so she doesn't know where I'm at. Alright, so there you have it. That is going to be about as confirmed as I can get it. Zombie screamers, or scouts as they're called when it spawns them in, will go towards the location that you were generally at when the heat rolls over to 100. But they won't start digging down to you even if you're down there where the heat is at. And even if you aren't down there, they don't dig around at all. They're still going to try and find you. Their primary focus is to try and find the player first. And if they can't, then they're just going to wander around. And eventually she'll stop, hanging out in this general area entirely, and she'll just wander off on her own until she can try and find me. But for the most part, you can see that she's just kind of hanging out doing nothing. So there you have it. Hopefully this was useful to you guys, give you an idea if you're going to have a whole bunch of forges and campfires, drop them down to bedrock a few chunks away from your base, and you are pretty much good to go. Make you a little tunnel all the way down there so you can gather resources and supplies. And yeah, so let's see if we can take a nice shot here. Oh, that's nice. We got a perfect little shot there, and we clicked. You gotta love it when that happens. Boom! I would call that some sneak damage. That just wrecked her completely. Nice. Okay, so there you have it. If you have any questions or comments or thinks I should have done something differently, of course, leave it in the comment section down below, and we can custom discuss a little further, or maybe have to do an additional test later on. If you found the video useful, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button, and be sure to subscribe if you're not already so you don't miss it on future videos, and smack that bell button there, and you'll get notified when a new video goes live. Thank you so much for your time. You have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.